Welcome to This Team Is Killing Us, a podcast about what the Carolina Panthers do to good people. She is Lauren Brownlow. I am Demetri Lauren. And Lauren, what is killing me this week is apparently you and I are the only two that want to hold this team to some kind of standard. The responses to your column about Sunday's game, my post-game video, was a lot of be nice. Be nicer to Dave Canales. And listen, I said in my video,
mean.
I might have been a little mean.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say you're meaner than me to him anyways.
Yeah, so here's what I said in my post-game video, and I stand by this. Like, I do not mind a first-year head coach learning on the job at all. But if you are the reason the team loses, that has to be called out.
I'm going to say that.
That you don't, it doesn't mean that I think you are any less capable now than you were before.
There's still things that I saw even in that game that I liked. It's just that, like, it was frustrating to be in a winnable game with Baker Mayfield looking like human garbage.
Yes, absolutely.
Like a winnable situation where your quarterback is playing well, looks as good as he's, continues to be confident. You know what I mean? And like to have that right there and to not be able to finish the job. Like, I think it's fair to point out mistakes. And again, it's not even all about the winning and the losing, really. It's more for me about the way it happens.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you.
Like, if he coached his ass off and they lost, I wouldn't be criticizing him because they lost. I'm not a results girly. I'm not.
I'll sort of look at that from the opposite side of you, because I also don't think of myself necessarily as a results girly, at least in this situation, right? Like, I mean, I'll
it sounded great.
I'm not going to be a results girly in this situation because, as we've said a million times, the bar is in hell, right? But if Eddie Pinheiro had made those 2 field goals and we won, I am still complaining about how conservative Dave Canales is.
Yes, 100%. Like, my thing is just, look, I mean, they came in 3-8. Now, granted, maybe there's an aspect there of like, they were showing the I love this is such a classic NFC South season where everyone sucks so much. And it's like, and I actually thought the Panthers would win only because, like, no, you can't have someone sucking that much more than everyone else in this division. That's contrary to the spirit of the thing. It really is, isn't it? And so I
was thinking about this during the game when they talked about the fact that the Buccaneers are trying to make their 5th straight playoffs, trying to win the division for the 4th straight year. Like, is the NFC South we knew and loved, is it dead?
Well, I don't know. It depends on which one you're talking about. The good one or the bad one? Because the bad one, look, that I have a certain affinity for, classically mediocre football.
Right. I mean, the version, because I think both good and bad were like this, where nobody is good from year to year.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
Nobody can string it together.
There was a long stretch of time, where like there was like a different division winner every single year. It was like a rotation.
Right.
I mean, maybe not. I mean, I don't think the Bucs are that much better than everybody else.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, because in the past, when New Orleans was dominating it, that was the case. And now it's just like everyone just really sucks. And it's like, who can make themselves not suck the most?
Right. Even the year that the Bucs won the Super Bowl, they were like a game better than the Saints. Like, they weren't considerably better than the Saints. I worry, going back to sort of the way the fans reacted to you and I talking about the team the way we did, I do worry to a certain extent that the fan base has unintentionally embraced loserdom. I'm very happy to see Bryce make the turnaround that he has, but it's okay to still want more from him.
Of course.
Right?
I think he would say that about himself.
I think it's okay to say that Dave Canales has work to do while acknowledging that it's his first season.
Right. Like, we're not sitting here saying, like, I don't think either of us are saying, like, Canales should be, like, fired or anything. Like, I wouldn't say that at all. In fact, on the whole with him, I've seen more, you know that. I've been more defensive of him than you. And in fact, like, we've debated this some on the podcast. Like, I like a lot of what I've seen. I like the potential that's there, but it's like anything else. Like, you can't get better without knowing what happened that was wrong. And like, it reminded me, maybe it was because not long before that game kicked, someone had, I don't remember the reason, but someone trotted out that Buffalo game from, was it 2013? I want to say it was. Yeah, 2013. The Ron Rivera game where he kicked the field goal to go up 6 in spite of having the 4th and 1. Not that game was always in the top of my mind. That game, I've never been more angry.
Yeah.
After a game, it still makes me mad to think about now that and that was like after that game was like the game that like Ron Rivera had the epiphany or whatever about like, I want to start going for more 4th downs. Like I get it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I just think that people like me would just rather see them lose going for broke. And it doesn't just mean 4th downs. It means like in the way you call plays and all of that. And just sometimes I feel a little bit of the panic I saw in Bryce's face early on in his coaching decisions. And that's worrisome.
Agreed. I mean, when they got the ball in overtime after Tampa's missed field goal, you texted me at one point and said, how has a minute 30 left the clock and we've gone 10 yards?
Yes.
It was a matter of like, in overtime, you have a chance to put this team away and you are still throwing these dink and dunk for 3 yards, recognizing that not only are you up against having to make first downs, having to score to end this thing, but like the way you're playing, time might run out before you get into a position to try and win this thing. I am less concerned in terms of where the fan base is at in terms of excuse making for Dave.
Yeah.
Than I am for whenever I point out, hey, like against Kansas City, I felt like they left it on the table. Doesn't mean I think anybody made any terrible mistakes. I just thought there was a chance to win it, and they didn't.
Right.
That's what leaving it on the table is. I'm critical of Dave this week. Every time somebody on whether it is Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, the YouTube comments, whatever, talks about the hurt, the amount of injuries on the defense. Well, I mean, Jesus, dog, it's week 14. Everybody's
also,
hurt.
Isn't that even more reason to be more aggressive on a 4th down?
Right.
Like, to me, it is. Like, that was part of why Ron Rivera switched his thinking that year, because his defense sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I go back to that field goal to make it 16-10. 4th and 1 on your side, not only on your side of the 50, inside the red zone. Not only has Pinheiro already missed 2 field goals, but Tampa has been inept on offense to that point.
Yes, exactly. Like, and that was my issue. And it's like, it's one thing to do it once or twice, and then to do it like 3 times though. Yeah. And you heard fans booing. We weren't the only ones that felt that way. You heard
fans booing immediately.
Yes. And I was booing at home, but I'm sure it wasn't audible on the broadcast, understandably.
While it was not audible through text message, Lauren did text me to let me know every time she was booing. Yeah, I was booing. Because you were like, what'd you think of that? I was like, what'd you think of the booing? I was like, well, I was booing too, so I can't really say anything. No, but like, I just think like what we would rather see, whether it was Ron Rivera or whether it's Dave Canales, I think most of us, and I think when you look in your heart, this is true, even for people that are like, be nice. It's like you would rather see them lose, like putting it all out there, like going for it instead of being cowardly. I don't know what else to call it besides cowardly. You're not wrong. And again, I go back to something that I've talked about a lot, and you've talked about it too. Like, we've certainly agreed on this. It is showing up now that he called plays for 1 year. It's showing up that he is still learning to be a play caller and now learning to be a head coach.
I think he's got matters. A lot of good plays.
Absolutely.
It's more like the time and situational aspect, I think, like that he's still learning.
I think he is. I think it is too early in his career to be a head coach. It does not mean that I think he is hopeless, period. And it doesn't mean that I think he's hopeless for the Panthers. I mean that I think
there's going to be a learning curve.
Right.
We're okay with that. Like,
yes, absolutely. I'm okay with it.
That doesn't mean we can't point it out. Yeah.
He's at a point in his career where either he needs a boss pushing him when he's calling plays, or he needs someone else calling the plays so he can be aggressive and make head coaching decisions. That's all my point is.
Yeah, you texted me. I think was it you that texted me this, or then I'll find out real quick. Like somebody like a Jim Caldwell.
Oh, no, it wasn't me.
Oh, it was my buddy Nana then.
Yeah.
Nana was like, he needs like a Jim Caldwell. And I was like, that's a great call. Yeah. Like, it's somebody like that is just so smart and has been around it and has advised younger coaches plenty of times.
And I can tell you why he doesn't have that right now. I can tell you why he doesn't have that.
Uh-oh.
Who had that last year? Frank Reich. Had exactly that. Had Jim Caldwell.
Yeah.
And so
I think, well, yeah, that's true.
I think there is a certain element of we did everything wrong last year. We're doing everything the opposite this year.
Well, yeah, except for I mean, I don't know. I mean, then why not cut the whole roster?
Well, no, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I think that's what's happening.
I know you're not. Although when you were like, he needs like a boss, the way my heart seized up because I'm like, oh no, what if David Tepper was like getting in the headset?
We'll get there in just a second. First, I do want to bring up Jonathon Brooks. I thought he looked excellent in this game. And I will tell you that I was wrong. My reaction after the extension to Chuba was, okay, so where is the team admitting it made a mistake? With this contract or with the second round pick of another running back? I, after this week, see the thunder and lightning vision that they have for those two. I just really need Dave Canales to call the lightning plays for Jonathon Brooks to make it work.
I think that, I understand. Let's put it this way. You're not wrong. I understand the concept.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm cool with the concept in theory. Do I love Chuba? Yes. Am I a little protective? Yes. Because there were two long stretches in that game.
Yep.
Where I'm like, excuse me, where is Chuba?
Sure.
And it's not that I don't want Brooks in. It's just, and he did look much better for sure. I liked a lot more of what I saw out of him.
You saw them call some off tackle stuff, but honestly, and I texted you this during the game, where are the pitches to the outside? Where are the plays?
Get him in space.
Where are the plays where he already has space before the ball is even in his hand?
Why did they only call those for the tiny running back last week? What happened to him? Is he all right? No, I saw him during the game.
I was about to say, they called his name with that one punt that the Panthers sent 2 returners back for. That was the only time I heard his name in the whole game.
Yeah. Oh, God. Imagine that. No. Oh. But yeah, I mean, I just, for me, I mean, it's hard. I've talked about that. I've debated this up and down with a bunch of people in my life because everybody was like you with Brooks. I've come out and said I didn't like the pick. I still don't like the pick because to me, unless he becomes like Derrick Henry, then you could have gotten a lot more out of that spot.
I agree with you. I like Brooks, the player.
Yes.
The pick, where they got him, I agree does not make sense.
And the injury part for me is the only part of the player that I don't love.
Yes.
And that's not his fault. And I sometimes hate when teams do that. But at the same time, that's a tough one. And it's not, and you need your running backs to feel like they're going to be durable.
Yeah.
And, so, I mean, I guess it is more of a long-term vision, I suppose, that they're trying to do here. So maybe they didn't have to get a pass rusher right there. But it also just feels like another year sort of squandered when you could have gotten at least one pass rusher in that, even though that does that improve the defense significantly? I don't know about that. But does it at least give you oh, look at this young guy they've got? Yeah. Whereas now you're dealing with the, 50% version of Jadeveon Clowney as your best pass rusher. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you, where are you at on Kyle Brandt from the NFL Network?
Not really anywhere in particular.
Okay.
I remember him back in the Jim Rome days.
Sure.
When I used to listen to those shows on CDs. Okay. So that is how far back I remember Kyle.
Kyle Brandt he rides the line perfectly for me between oaf and delightful.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen his Angry Runs segment that he does on Good Morning Football?
No, but I like that sound of that.
He just highlights just dudes trucking other dudes.
That's my favorite kind of stuff.
I want to play for you a clip of Kyle Brandt watching Jonathon Brooks in that run that got the Panthers into the red zone where he just blew up Zion McCollum from the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Jonathon Brooks in the clean Panthers blue pants runs right through some pewter. Jonathon Brooks is a guy who started the season on injured reserve, just activated a few weeks ago. He's a guy from Texas that they loved in the draft, and now he is showing up on angry runs like he's Jonathan Stewart, or friend of the show, D'Angelo Williams, back in the Panthers. Love you, D'Angelo. We love him. We love you, Mike Tolbert. We love you, Jonathon Brooks.
Yes.
And I frankly love seeing a Carolina Panther in angry runs. It feels right. It feels destructive, and that is a great broken tackle, and he runs right through Winfield after, and then a little something to say. Let's go. I like this guy.
I liked that too. I did. I was like, ooh, okay, spicy. I said,
I see the vision. When they gave the contract extension to Chuba,
maybe it's Thunder and Thunder.
Maybe, but like I think that.
But that's not what you wanted Brooks for, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like the two names he mentioned are sort of what clicked. Like it is the Stewart Williams thing that could be here.
Right, because they actually were like not that dissimilar of runners. Like even though people tried to like, you always want to figure out what does one guy do and what does one guy do, but they weren't really that dissimilar at all.
And we're going back to like the tail end of Jonathon Fox, not tail end, but like near the end of John Fox before they brought in, or when they brought in Williams. He would call things for Williams that he wouldn't for Stewart.
For sure. Like he understood their strengths very well.
And it doesn't seem like Canales is there yet.
That's the part. That's the part that concerns me. Is like you're like, okay, so does he understand like what these guys do here? And that's been in general a complaint I've had with Chuba.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why are you going these long stretches without running the ball at all?
That is something that I think I wonder exactly what his thinking is when he does go on those stretches where it's like, you're not even handing, like I get Chuba's on the field, but you're not even handing the ball. Is it that he is so right now feels like Bryce needs as many feel good throws, even if they are just check downs as they could be?
Weird. It's like the opposite.
Balance is so wild when you look at the plays at the end of the game.
Yeah, and like even when the run is working, that's the thing. That's what's frustrating because you just go, okay, well, you didn't have to go throw this bomb on first down.
It's like how much have you kept up with the Billy Napier saga at Florida?
A little bit, just mostly through the national podcast.
Okay, so when DJ Lagway, they're like, holy crap, freshman quarterback was sort of coming on. Yeah, it did save his job. But before we got to the part where Lagway had to be the starter because Graham Mertz got hurt, Napier made this like sweeping decision that Lagway is just going to play every third series.
Oh, no matter what's going on. I remember that, yes.
And it's almost like Canales has just decided at this point in the game, we're just going to stop running.
Well, and here's my issue too. Like, and somebody like posted this to me, was like something like, oh, I wonder if like Chuba was a little cold and that's why he ended up fumbling. I don't know about all that. I think that honestly, that guy just made a good play.
Yeah, like, I agree.
And it sucks. And my heart fell into my butt, but like, whatever, it is what it is. It happened. But like, I don't think that's necessarily it. But at the same time, I didn't like that all of a sudden it was like, oh, now you're using him? Like maybe we were not even in this position. If you remembered you had a running back named Chuba Hubbard, like 10 minutes ago in real time, and that's frustrating for me because he is it's like one run doesn't work. And all of a sudden it's like, nope.
Yeah.
He gets scared. And again, it's like, that's the issue. It's not that Canales is like always making wrong calls. It's like you feel that coaching scared energy, and it's not going to get you very far in this league or many others.
It's not that he's making wrong calls. It is that there are times I think that he feels the momentum of Bryce staying up long enough to bail you out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
And he treats that like a successful play call as opposed to what it really is.
And look, you mentioned like Panthers fans being used to certain things. And I think that there is truth to that. Like somebody said this to me during the game and I was like, wow. They were like, I haven't gotten to the point where a routine completion still doesn't feel a little bit like a novelty. And I was like, I haven't either.
Yeah.
Like there is still that moment for me of like, oh, it worked. Wow. Because we're not used to it.
Right.
Like it's been so long since like even the most basic passing game components work.
There are some things that Bryce will do on throws. And sometimes like he does this a lot with Liggett. He will throw and force Liggett to go get it. And there are times that I have to remind myself, oh, he's putting it where only that big receiver can get it and not, oh no, Bryce, what are we doing?
Yes. There were some drops too.
Yep.
David Moore, listen, you've done great up to this point. I said some mean things to you in my room and I'm sorry about that.
One guy that we have been plenty mean to on this podcast deserved is Dave Tepper, right? But I do think he deserves some credit here for boy has he been quiet this year, and that game on
really
Sunday,
great job of shutting the hell up.
Exactly, that game on Sunday, it just dawned on me. This is the kind of game. This is like the Jacksonville game, even though Jacksonville like cleanly won that game last year. But it is the same situation where it was embarrassing the way they lost this game. He would have been running for a microphone last year.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Like, maybe he has hired a PR person that he's listening to now. Like, because literally how much would you get paid by him to just give him the advice of like, shut up and disappear?
I mean, given my investment, my emotional investment in the team now, I would do it for free. But knowing the money he has,
$500,000.
Yeah.
That's my advice. One-time fee. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Nice doing business with you, sir.
Thank you for calling Brownlow Consulting.
And do that until I tell you it's okay to come out.
I wonder how much of this had to do, how much of the like ability to commit to the bit of like it's just my team, it is their operation, had to do with Bryce's struggles in the first two games. Like, it's great that he is turning things around right now, but after those first two games, it had to be clear he couldn't treat it the same way he treated Frank Reich last year and try and protect his quarterback above all else.
Yeah. I think like I hope, you think and hope that he would learn lessons. We do see very rich men nationwide refusing to learn lessons about how like their perception can improve. So you never know, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you would think he would learn like, okay, maybe if I'm just like lay low and don't say anything and mind my business, and like then I'm not associated with the mess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the other part. Like that's the benefit that they forget is a thing.
Right.
Of like, oh, if I just stay out of it,
right,
maybe I don't have to have my name associated with everything that's going on. I'm just the owner doing my best to try to make the team better. And that's it.
It's funny as you say that, it makes me think about oh shoot, what's the guy's first name? The Brown family that owns the Bengals. Like, I think our age might be the youngest that know that guy is just a cheap, inept boob because he is so quiet behind these. I would bet younger fans don't realize.
Right, like everyone associates Cleveland with like the messiest
exactly.
Owner and yeah.
Or the Jets at this point.
Well, yes. Yeah, somebody anytime a Jets fan posts at me and is like, well, at least you're not a Jets fan. They're one of the only ones that I'm like, well, that's fair. You got me on that.
I want to say that I'm ready to believe Dave Tepper kind of is starting to get it. However,
we'll see.
Until I know for a fact he's not going to buy the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill and bulldoze it, I'm not ready to commit to that.
That's the move.
That's
for the rich people, isn't it? Just buy the place that says mean things about you and bulldoze it.
I've seen plenty of episodes of Saved by the Bell to know how this is going to go.
I was just thinking of Twitter.
Oh, sure. also good. What honestly Zack Morris would have grown into if we had stayed with Zack Morris this whole time.
Yes. 100%. Yes.
Would Zack Morris, I know we have seen a lot of people theorize, like Bernie Madoff kind of con man, right? I could envision a world where we find out that Zack Morris kills and eats people.
That's interesting. I was thinking more like men's rights activist grifter.
Oh, yeah. See, I think that is the natural one. I'm trying to think like, what is the nth degree we could take it to where
like
I would
American,
go, yeah, I could see this.
Like Christian Bale, American Psycho vibes kind of thing, maybe. Yeah.
Turns on Huey Lewis, has the drop tarps ready for whatever it's time to go to work.
Because like all of his schemes were always unnecessarily elaborate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he never learned a lesson. Why would he stop?
Well, he always got away with it.
Yeah, so, exactly. All right, don't forget that tickets to the Basketball Jones with our pal Bomani Jones are on sale right now. Ovius and Chilio are a part of it. Lauren Brownlow is hosting the whole evening. Get your tickets right now at therialto.com. Just click on the events page or through eTix if you are an OG fan subscriber. Excuse me, there is a promo code in your email. This is a great Christmas present for anybody in your life that loves Triangle College basketball. And speaking of Christmas presents, why not give somebody an OG fan subscription this year? If they are a Carolina Panthers fan, it is the only way to get the complete coverage of the team from This Team Is Killing Us. It is also where Lauren writes about pop culture. Again, on your recommendation, Sally and I just motored through Nobody Wants This. It's delightful.
It's great, right?
It's the best.
It's like the first legit rom-com I've seen in years.
Yeah. That is true. My wife and I together, we completely agree on if Kristen Bell is in it, we will at least give it a chance.
Yeah, she's terrific in it.
I mean,
the sister from Succession, or the brother's wife from Succession plays her sister. Yes.
The one thing I did not like about the show, was I don't know this person to have any fun at all. She's supposed to be sad and serious all the time because I only knew her from Succession.
Oh, Willa.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I felt like she probably had a very fun life in the times we weren't seeing, because she was like artsy and stuff like that.
I think it's suggested in Succession that she was a prostitute, right?
I thought she was like just really, maybe. Yeah, it was suggested that she was like really into the art scene and like had artsy friends and stuff. So I bet you she spent as little time with him alone as possible.
Maybe prostitute is the wrong word. Maybe more like what do you call the younger girl on the side of a sugar daddy relationship?
I don't know.
Do they call themselves sugar babies? Are they both named after candy?
That's gross.
Yeah, I agree. But
didn't like the way that hit the ear. Nope.
OGTriangleMedia.com is where you go to sign up for OG fans. Lauren Brownlow, I look at the game this week, and I do not think the Panthers are in line to pull off an upset the way I did going into Kansas City. I do not think they are in line where I look at this and say, oh, that team's not as good as people think they are, like I was going into last week. But I will say this.
Agreed.
I think given the way the Panthers lost and the way the Eagles won last week, I think that Vegas or DraftKings or wherever it is you put your money down, I think they are going to way overvalue what Philadelphia is going to do in this game. And I think you can make money betting on the Panthers this week.
You probably could. I don't gamble very much because I hate it. Because I know, I don't know. I don't want to say I know too much. That's silly. Because a lot of people who know a lot do very well. So that's not even what I'm saying. But it's also like the moment that, Bryce in the closing minutes of the game is like sacked and fumbles and that's what takes it over the top, and I end up breaking, that breaks me.
Yeah.
No, I'm done.
The Eagles are a 12.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I mean, that is a lot. I'll give you that.
So that on its own is a lot, but remember the Eagles.
But I could also see that very easily happening, even in a game that's decently competitive.
So here is where I think it could get out of hand, is both for the reason, it's the same reason that it could get out of hand as I think the number is too big. The Eagles have sort of abandoned throwing the ball this season.
Well, wouldn't you?
Totally.
Well, and that's the thing. Do I really think the Panthers can stop him? No.
Okay, but here is you're right. I don't see the Panthers bringing Saquon Barkley down, but this is where, circling back to our original conversation about Dave Canales, I do hope he is smart enough to recognize if the run game is working, stick with it, hang on to the ball, don't ask Bryce to take big risks, control the clock.
And that's the thing, that's when some of the dink dunk stuff happens, not in the times where they're supposed to be moving a little speedier.
Right.
I like it because I'm like, okay, I understand he's trying to just keep the chains moving, and that's good. That's what you should be doing. You can go for shots here and there, and they do, they will now because Bryce has shown he can hit some of those, but sometimes I just get if it's close and they take one of those and I'm like, well, there goes it down. Great. Awesome. Thank you. When you could have run Chuba on first down. I don't see enough of that. And is that predictable to run on first down? Yeah, probably. But then I wonder sometimes how much he's just outthinking himself.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And I get it. We've all been there. That's the thing. I'm not saying this to be they should fire him. I don't know. We've become, in general, and maybe this is getting into too hot of a take, so maybe stop me if I am. But at the same time, I think people in general nowadays are so defensive that if you give any critique, it becomes oh, you think I suck, and it's no, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, this is a conversation. So last week, so every week I do a regular hit on radio down in South Carolina, right? And last week I said, look, if I'm Bubba Cunningham, I start by calling Shane Beamer. I don't know if Shane would say yes, but I would make him say no. And fans of South Carolina insisted I said that North Carolina is a better job than South Carolina is, that it's a better situation.
Oh my God, no, that's not even what you're saying.
Exactly. That's not what I
said.
You're
just saying, like, see what he says.
Right. To your point, and this actually, again, circles back to the beginning of the show, saying I was disappointed with the way Dave Canales called this game does not mean I've given up on Dave Canales.
No, 100%. And like again, that's the thing. That's what surprises me. I mean, granted, I know not every people aren't like following every opinion I have. I understand that. But like at the same time, I've been defensive of him, and not just because he's good looking.
Right.
Sometimes when you suck enough, ask David Carr about this, that can ruin it for me. And then I don't even think you're hot anymore. Thankfully, I still do.
Yeah.
With Dave. And I like I see the potential there so much. And I like it. Like there are some plays they call that I'm like, that was very cool. Like I've never seen anything like that, and then
you sometimes do 3 laterals when you're inside the red zone.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah.
It was like cuter than a puppy in a Santa hat. It was unnecessarily cute.
Agreed.
It was too much.
Agreed. And the cute things that we know work, the extra lineman calls, like, where were those this week? There's one time.
Right.
One time.
I was like so excited about that the week before. I called it the octo-lateral. I'm sure it wasn't that many, but it felt like that many to me. I'm like, are they doing another one? Throw the ball. Look at this pass rush. It's in his face. Please, he might die.
Right. I want to wrap with a question I think we do have to answer, all of us as Panthers fans. Are we going to watch CamNewton on this military reality show?
I saw that on the rundown. That's how I learned of it. You're telling me you're telling me he's going to be on Special Forces?
Yes.
For so many reasons.
So my favorite thing so far about these Special Forces ads that they have been running on Fox is they show all these people that are on the show, right? And
they had Tom Sandoval on last year.
This year, he's not the only former NFL player. I'm pretty sure Golden Tate is part of it.
Oh.
I think Landon Donovan is on the show.
Interesting.
There's another athlete whom I can't recall, but like Denise Richards is the big name, I guess, this year, right?
What?
And so
Denise Richards?
And so
oh my God.
They are running down who is in the cast, and they are showing everybody in full fatigues, rappelling down the side of a mountain, sliding down a zip line out of a helicopter.
It's like a drill sergeant, right?
Yeah. And then when they introduce Cam is sitting, talking to camera, dressed very much like CamNewton, and I'm not entirely sure he's participating in this show or not.
This is what I'm saying. Imagine a drill sergeant and CamNewton and go. That's the first place my brain went of like, imagine Cam's reaction to a drill sergeant, a drill sergeant's reaction to Cam.
Right.
I want every part of that.
It's interesting, right? Because if you are a drill sergeant or if you're an Army recruiter and you see Cam walk in, just body size, you're
smiling.
Like, perfect killing machine.
But you look at him, what he's wearing, you look at the smile, just does not care. And you're like, oh God.
I will give this an episode. When I say I don't think I can get through it, it is more the network reality TV tropes.
Oh, sure.
That like I just don't think I could do, but I am really interested to see CamNewton in a if he got benched for not wearing a tie on the team plane.
Oh my God.
What could happen with a drill sergeant as a boss?
How tight are his pants going to be?
Right.
Like I need to know these things.
Yeah.
I got very stuck the other day on like this image of Bryce Young trying to wear some of CamNewton's pants. It's very comical to me for some reason. I don't know why. I don't even know what set me there, but I was like, oh man.
He could probably use it as a hammock.
100%.
Bryce could absolutely use Cam's pants as a hammock.
Yes. It's like a before. I was envisioning it like a before and after picture.
This is how Nutrisystem works.
But then I was also like, yeah, but Cam's pants are very tight.
Sure.
So I bet they would be a funny shape because like the thighs are probably huge.
Right.
But then like the waist is probably, I mean, it's still going to be way smaller than Bryce's, or way bigger than Bryce's. Right. But like, I don't know. I was fascinated.
You put this on Blue Sky, and I suggested that we take a picture of him and Devin Tompkins each in one leg of Cam's pants.
I loved that. I love that visual image. I need that in my life, please.